How's that? Y'all can't hear me? No sound. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, good. I'm relying on my friends in the chat box because I am live. Okay, great. Everybody can hear me. All right, let's keep going. Tonight is my technique class. We've been doing this since October of 2021, and I think everyone has been loving them. I know I have. It has been a lot of fun to help you all build your technique library is what I'm saying. Sure, you can go look on the internet. You can go search for something. What was that called? What was the name of that technique? I'm making it easy for you. I am putting it in a binder system that you can either use the Stampin' Up album, so that we'll talk about in a minute when I switch over to the other camera, or you can put it in a 3-ring binder, whatever works for you. But these techniques, you know, this is month 5, so we now have 30 techniques. Well, we will after tonight. So 30 techniques. Okay, how many more does she have? And I got lots more. And you know, I go, oh, that would be a great one for our technique book. And I write it down on a Post-it note, and then I go stick it with my technique stuff. And so we could just keep doing this forever if you want to. So Arlene is loving the binder idea. I don't like wasting craft time searching. What? I could not have said it better myself. Go ahead and let me do the searching. Let me do the work. Let me put it in a system for you. And then when you guys are ready to sit down and craft, yeah, open the book. Perfect. Thank you, Arlene, for saying that. Let's see. Kathy D. Oh, love the Mystery Monday card. Okay, so a lot of you join me on Mondays at 4 p.m. here on YouTube for Mystery Monday stamping. And then Thursday night, I go live and I stamp. On mystery stamping, y'all stamp. I don't. I've already stamped before. So tonight is the techniques. Okay, so we're going to get started. I do want to say hello to everyone who has joined me live. And I also want to introduce my friend, Michelle Batson, who helps me because I can't do this by myself. I get to go in and I get to stamp and I go, oh yeah, you're not by yourself. There are people watching you, and you, I'm still saying, Deborah Jackson says no sound. Okay, Deborah, everyone else is hearing me. So maybe go out of YouTube and come back and see if that helps you. Make sure your sound is on your device, whether you're listening on your phone or your laptop or whatever. Make sure that you have that turned up. So, because Heart of Hope Designs, she has sound. So, and I know that you guys in the chat would tell me, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. But I mean, those of you who are with me on Monday, you saw a picture of what my setup is. It's pretty fancy. Just saying. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to switch over to this one. Let me move this out of the way for a moment. So the Techniques binder has been designed for you to have a nice, small little book that you can just keep on your craft table. Or, like I said, if you've decided to go with the 3-ring binders, that's fine too. You can purchase these albums from my Stampin' Up website, and any links that you need are always below my videos. So this is called an album, and you do need to purchase you need to purchase the protector sheets for you to store in. And I'm recommending that if you're going to place an order for the album, that you go ahead and get a couple of packs of sheets, because if you're going to do several of these classes with me, you're going to quickly run through a pack of these. So go ahead and get 2 or 3 packs if you are planning on doing this class each month, because I know a lot of y'all have ever since I started. So I do want to point that out. And, you know, my book is starting to get full, and I'm like, Am I going to need another book soon? I didn't even think about that, but I bet I do. Oh, good. Nancy has sound now. Hello, Nancy Habert from Hewitt, Texas. That's exciting. I don't know where Hewitt is. I'll have to look that up. Oh, y'all like my lighting. Thank you. Okay. So I give you guys a index to all the tutorials, and the way that or all the techniques, the way I'm doing mine is I just continue. So like this was volume 1, this is volume 2, this is volume 3. So all of my indexes are at the front of my binder. I know I did get a question about that. And so this is how I'm doing mine. Hewitt is next to Waco. I knew that name, but I was like, I was drawing a blank. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy, for telling me that. So as I was doing, getting everything ready for tonight, I was kind of reminiscing on some of the techniques that we've already learned. And I got to grab this stack. Hold on. Look at all the cards that I have made for technique class. Look at that. It was so fun to go back and look at the full-size cards. Even though I could see them in my book, I was like, oh, which was my favorite? I think that was one of my favorites. Y'all remember that one? The chalk pastels. I think that was in volume 1. I don't know. They've kind of gotten out of order, but there are 25 cards here, and I'm going to be adding 5 more to this. So there you go. Thought y'all would enjoy seeing those. So one more thing I want to point out, some of the pockets have a big pocket and then 2 small pockets. And so as you start going, this one has 4 on there. And so if you end up like that, what I've done is I have my instructions for my card, and then the instructions for the faux linen technique on this side. And what I recommend is that maybe if you have tried a technique, maybe changed it up a little bit, just put a little copy of it in these blank pockets, okay? So I just wanted to go through that. Oh my gosh, Jane Strain is on here from Sierra Vista, Arizona. My friend Jane. Okay, so where are we at? See, my book is getting full. Okay, here we are. This is tonight's class. And I know there's quite a glare with the binder, so I'm going to move the binder out of the way. But before I do, I want to point out something. I decorated the front of my binder like this. However, some of y'all have gotten a little bit more creative than me. And you have, well, hello, Jackie, my friend. Jackie's in a hotel watching me. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that's good. Some of y'all have actually made a card, so a big card for the front of your album. Way to go. I wish I'd have thought of that. But what I've decided to do, I am giving you, if you when you get the tutorials, I'm giving you the option to print this page to put on the front. And I made it a little bit bigger than mine, because some of y'all are using a 3-ring binder, and maybe you could just slide this in, and it would be a nice, bright, colorful techniques front to your book. So the way that we have been doing this class, and I'm going to move this out of the way, is hello, Lois from Mesquite, Texas. How are you? Okay, so the way I've been doing the class is I'm giving you this class on YouTube for free. Okay, basically we're going to start there. It is a free class. And then if you want the tutorial sheet to go into your binders, then you can either purchase a $50 minimum order from my website. Again, the link is below the video. Before tax and shipping, and then I will send you this for free. You will get this, and it is designed to cut up. Now, this is just the welcome page and just kind of telling you what to do. But here is my index sheet, okay? And there are lines for you to cut to make it fit in the album from Stampin' Up, okay? If you are a demonstrator, please don't place an order with me. I never encourage that. You are welcome to purchase the tutorials that will be available on my blog in my tutorial store at 8 p.m. Central. They're not there now, so don't go anywhere. Y'all have to stay right here. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And our first one is triple time stamping. Okay, so here we go. We have our technique information, and then we have the supplies that I use for my card and a picture of my card. I always want y'all to try the technique. Don't just print these and say, well, that's a cute little book. I think I'll just put it on my desk and not use it. I want y'all to try the techniques. I don't ever want you to just not do that. What's the fun in that? If you do try the techniques, I invite you to share your version in my Facebook group if you're on Facebook. And it is TxStampin, because that's who I am, TxStampin Sharon Stamping Friends Facebook group, because we want to see your take on it. You may totally change what I have done. I don't know why I have so many shadows. Let's see. Let me see if I can fix that. Let me move this up a little bit. Oh, that's better. So this is called triple time stamping. What does that mean? That means that you are stamping on 3 pieces of cardstock at the same time. Now, I love just black and white. I think that's pretty elegant and simple. And so this is the design I did. You may choose to do like solid images where you're using different colors of ink or whatever. The whole concept is stamping on 3 layers of paper, okay, of cardstock. So I have my pieces here. I am using the Blessings of Home stamp set. I always like to show y'all that because I get asked that question. You know, as I started the technique class, it was kind of a learn as you go. This was something that I always dreamed of doing. I wanted to do this series for a long time. Now I'm going to take, and I'm just going to stick a glue dot on my paper. Y'all can see the glue dot maybe. And then I'm going to touch it with the finger, my finger. The oil from my finger is going to allow that to come up easier. And I'm just going to stick it down to the piece of basic white. I'm not giving y'all measurements. What am I doing? I'm like, I was going to tell y'all the measurements as I go. The whole point of technique class is for me to teach you the technique, not for me to help you make a card. You're going to play with the technique and you're going to make your own cards, right? All right, so then here's another piece. And that kind of moved a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of put it right there, okay? All right, let's get our inks. I want Memento. Oh, why do I have stays on? Good thing I'm in the studio and I could just reach behind me and grab my Memento ink. So I'm going to ink up my stamp. This is a big stamp, okay? I prefer to, Deborah, you're still having trouble with the sound. I don't know, girlfriend. It's got to be something on your side because no one else is saying anything. So perhaps, I don't know. I don't know why you're having trouble. I can't think of what else it could be. I am looking for, I'm just going to get this. I want to put a glue dot right under here because it's kind of swiveling a little bit. And again, I'm touching that with my finger so that it's easier to come off. Great. Stella's barking. She wants to go outside. Well, this could be interesting. You know, only on a live does live things happen, like life, you know, it's like, okay, if somebody's going to ring the doorbell, it's all going to happen on a live. Okay. So now I'm going to take this stamp. I am not going to take that stamp. I want you to stamp with your greeting first to make sure you leave enough room for the greeting. Look at me. It threw me off when I didn't have my Memento. Okay, let's try that again. So I want to stamp my greeting first. So Diane Lockwood can hear me loud and clear, and I know that Jackie would tell me if she couldn't hear me. So now I'm going to re-ink just in case my ink got a little dry on me. And I am going to catch all 3 pieces of my cardstock. Blame it on Stella. Yeah, we can blame it on Stella. I don't know. She's probably going to bark again. And my husband's locked away in the bedroom watching the Olympics. Now, I want y'all to notice something. There's a lot of gaps. We're going to fix that. All right, we're going to ink it up again, and we're going to do some more stamping. Oh, I think my husband heard her. That's good. And we're going to come in about like this. There we go. Okay, let's put our top on because I'm sure I'll get my fingers in it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this apart. And I don't want you to stress if the glue happens to tear your card a little bit. We're going to be covering it up anyway, so it's not a big deal. But the key thing to doing the triple time stamping, normally I don't put a card together for y'all on technique class, but the whole key is the next step. I know I had my, oh, there it is. It was here all along. I'm like, I don't know where that thing went. I mean, if y'all could see everything I have going, laying out, ready for these technique classes, you'd go, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add layers, black matte layers with some adhesive. You know, a lot of these techniques, you guys already know them, right? I'm not bringing you anything new per se. Some of this may just be a reminder for you. You know, you've already seen me do it. You've seen somebody else do it, but you forgot it. So remember, my technique book is a great way for you never to forget again. There you go. All right, let's go ahead and add this one to a black mat. Still no sound, Deborah. I just don't know what to tell you. Okay, so you could add these layers back either just straight on. I prefer to use dimensionals, you know, because I say dimensionals gives everything personality. And so I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And then when I go to add this, I'm going to line it up with my image over on the bigger piece of basic white. Okay, so see how it's lining up with the flowers. Now you don't see that gap that was there before. Arlene says, never forget the technique and have them all in one place. Excellent. I'm so glad you like that idea, Arlene. Okay, so when I go to add this layer, I don't want dimensionals on this side, on the left. I only want it on the right. And then we're just going to add adhesive. And we're going to line everything up again. I'm looking at my image here and over here before I place it down. And there we go. So see, I didn't put the whole card together. There's no card part, but that is triple time stamping. Okay. So I hope that this will be a great one for your technique and that you will have this in your binder and you're going to give it a try, right? And then you're going to share it with us if you choose to do that, either over in the Facebook group. You can't post it here on YouTube. There's no way for you to do that. Okay, let's see what's next. By the way, those of you who are watching the replay, I will have a timestamp below the video after it's done. Give me a few moments and there will be a timestamp. So when you're doing the techniques, if you want to come back and watch it, you'll know, oh yeah, she did triple time stamping at such and such a time. So that will be updated after the live. Our next one is called clear glass. I have done faux glass, but this is called clear glass. So we're going to get everything ready. And I think this makes a great masculine card. And I don't drink whiskey, but I don't know. It just looks manly to me, I guess. So I think this technique is going to be fun. I think fun folds and techniques are great for the guys because, excuse me, they always wonder, how'd she do that? How'd she do that? All right, I'm just grabbing all my supplies. And I'm going to put that up a little bit. I want to remind you of a few things. So this isn't just a technique class. This is a reminder. If you choose to do your coloring, let me move that over a little bit. If you want to use the Stampin' blends, you need to use a Memento ink pad. I, however, am going to bring out our little Stampin' Right markers that keep getting forgotten. And for that, I need StazOn. So you can color this technique either way you want, but I just wanted to do that reminder that, we'll put it this way. This is what you need. And I did instruct you on that on the technique PDF. This is what you'll want to do or what you want to use when you're coloring. Okay. So like I said, I'm using Whiskey Business. And we're going to move all this over. Okay, you ready to see the card? Nah, I'm not going to show you yet. No, I am. All right. Can you see the glass look on the decanter and the glass? Isn't that so fun? Okay. Barbie says she loves this technique. Vay says that's something I always have trouble remembering. What is that, Vay? The triple time stamping? Or this one? The clear glass is so fun. Now I have mounted both of my stamps on the same block, and I'm just going to stamp on this tiny scrap of paper. So this technique doesn't take much, okay? Who's noticed that I'm in the bottom corner of the screen? I got my picture-in-picture to work. I think I am seeing, let me move this back down. There we go. Okay. So I'm inking this up. And again, I've got a lot of stamp area here. So I'm going to do it upside down. And so now I'm just going to stamp straight down. And I like to just give this a moment for that ink to really get into the cardstock. Okay, so I'm giving it a good press. What is the question I just saw? What ink goes with the markers? So I am stamping with StazOn. It is a permanent ink, and that one will work with the water-based Stampin' Right markers. Okay, does that help? Okay. So we're going to move that inky stamp out of the way. And now I'm just going to do some quick coloring. Now, I honestly don't know what the color of whiskey ends up being. I know it's kind of an amber color. And I really wish that we had the crushed curry Stampin' blends. We used to, but we don't anymore. So I just kind of went very sloppily and just kind of started coloring. And I was happy to figure out that I could kind of blend with my markers. It's not quite the same, so don't think that this is a replacement for the Stampin' blends, but I'm just kind of not nervously, I know y'all think I'm shaking, just kind of going in and just adding some color. Put a little color up here. And bring a little bit more down. Okay. So that is cinnamon cider. Kate Wright, thank you, my friend. I have made such improvements with my technology and my equipment. So now I'm taking the Daffodil Delight and I'm just kind of blending it in. Again, I don't know. At this point, it doesn't really look like whiskey. But when I'm done, it does. And then I'm going to kind of come back and just kind of do a little bit more. All right, let's color our glass. We're going to do the same thing. Now, excuse me, the Stampin' Blends work great for this, but I know that a lot of you may not have all the colors. So I wanted to give you a different option. So that's why I went with using the Stampin' Right markers. Okay, it doesn't really matter what you use for coloring. The whole point is in the technique. So the technique itself is, what is Jackie saying? I hear that y'all are laughing with Jackie. I cannot keep looking up Jackie and keeping you in tab, man. You better behave yourself. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take my Versamark and I'm going to just tap it to the image, making sure I have it all covered. Jackie would never do this technique. If that's what, oh yeah, she does. Jackie, you are the one that needs to educate me on whiskey colors. Jackie will say something about whiskey and I'll go, well, I'll go get my wine. All right, so now I have the clear, making sure, the clear embossed powder. Whenever you buy the powders on my website now, it comes in a pack of 3. It's called Basic. So you can't just buy clear powder. You get the clear, the white, and the black. Yes, Jackie, I think you do need to come to Texas and teach me how to drink whiskey. Yep, that would be great. So I'm just pouring my clear embossed powder all over my stamped image, okay? And I'm going to move that out of the way because I need to turn on the heat gun. And I'm actually going to move that out of the way. Y'all are too funny. All right, so I'm going to hang on to this. Oh, Michelle's drinking whiskey right now. Mm-hmm. Please do a live on it. That's too funny. Okay, so you can see it's starting to melt. I just want everything melted and I am making sure that I have got the whole piece of cardstock melted because I'm going to do it again. Okay, I'm going to pour this back in. And no, we don't sell these little trays anymore. I wish we did. I get that question every time I use it. All right, let's bring this back over. That's fairly cool. And now I'm going to do it again. The more you do it, the glassier it looks. Yeah, Jackie, I did not Google what color is whiskey. Jackie knows me. If I don't know how to do something, I go Google it. Okay. Gets covered with the live chat on a phone. Okay, let's see. How about if I move me up to the top? How's that? I'm with you, Kay Irene. Pour me a Merlot. Absolutely. All right. Let's see. We're going to do this again. And then we'll be done. Barbie says her tummy doesn't like whiskey. Give me a Merlot. Yeah. The Google Queen. Jackie's going to get me a crown that says the Google Queen. Oh. Joy says I'll stick with my never been sweet iced tea. Yeah, we drink unsweet tea here in Texas. I don't know. I think everybody does it different all over. Michelle's go-to is gin, but I'm enjoying a whiskey this evening. Well, perfect technique for me to be doing for you then. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so now when we pick this up, look at that. Doesn't it look like a decanter, a glass decanter and a glass? Glass? Okay, now, bye Karen, thanks for hopping in on us. There is one other thing you can do. If I was to take this and bend it, this is kind of another technique. It's called cracked glass. Can y'all see that? I just took it and bent it. That's a technique. I decided not to really give you a technique tutorial for it, but just to show you on the video what cracked glass looks like. This is what happens if you break this. But that is also another technique. So as you're doing the glass technique, if your image needs something else, just bend it and it'll crack. Jackie says, don't crack the whiskey bottle. That would be wasteful. I know. The heat is on high. The Stampin' Up! Heat tool has 2 settings, but I did have it on high. The lower setting is used more like for vellum or thinner materials, but when I'm embossing, I use the higher setting. Jan Ross, you're right. Wouldn't this be cool to use the glass technique when making ocean scenes and rivers? Yes, it would. Yes, it would. All right, let's see what else we have here. We're making a mess, but that's what it's all about. Okay, so our next technique is, okay, so this is 30 techniques that we're into, right? And I have an Excel spreadsheet of all these techniques that we're going to do. I am going to admit that I made a mistake. And when did I figure it out? At 5 o'clock today. There was no time to change. So here's the mistake. When I did this technique, very first one, volume 1, I called it acrylic block technique, acrylic block watercolor. This I was calling clear block. It's the same thing. But I'm going to use a bigger block and hopefully it'll look different to you. And I actually have a bonus tutorial to give with y'all tonight because of my mistake. I didn't cry. I just went, well, rats. Now what do I do? So if you missed that first one, then this is all new to you. Linda says she's here for Clump and Stampers trolling in the chat. I'm going to use a piece of shimmery white cardstock. I recommend, if I could try to move the picture in the top right corner. Should I just turn the picture off? Y'all don't have to see my face. Let's just turn it off. If that's a problem for anybody's devices, we'll just turn it off. All right. I am using, Mary Yates, you know me well enough. I do make mistakes. I am not perfect, but I'm going to teach y'all something different tonight. So hopefully it'll make up for it. No, don't turn me off. Don't turn it off. All right. I'm going to use 3 colors of inks, and I am using Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay, and Pacific Point. I'm going to start inking my acrylic block, my clear block. Tonight, we're calling it a clear block. And I'm still using the same stamp set that I used in October, Seascapes. But this one turns out really cool. So you're going to love it. I promise. Yes, you can put that in the freezer. You can put your cracked glass piece in the freezer and it will crack well too. But I'm telling you, you just have to bend it. Okay, y'all like seeing me. Okay, we're back on and I'll put me up in the top right. How's that? Oh, by my logo. How's that? Does that work? All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink up the top portion of my clear block. We're going to do the clear block, and then we're going to close this up. And we don't need that, but I do need a paper towel. And then next I'm going to take a darker color, which is Bermuda Bay. Cynthia needs more ink pads. You know, Cynthia, I don't think you can ever have too many ink pads. The water-based ink pads are awesome. So now we're going to close this. Well, hello, Jan. Welcome for the first time live. I'm so glad you're here. Next, I'm taking Pacific Point. Yes, there will be a replay. This video will stay on my YouTube channel. And I actually have a playlist for all of my techniques. So, all right, so now I'm going to do the bottom portion like this. Okay, and that's it. Oh, I was talking about the paper. You either need to use shimmery white cardstock or Mary Yates, I should not read comments while I'm trying to talk. You either need to use this or the fluid watercolor paper, okay? Using the basic white or any of the other papers, you're not going to be happy with the results. It's not, there's kind of a coating on this paper on the shimmery white, and it allows this technique to work better. So Mary Yates says, it depends on how much whiskey or Merlot you've had, whether it's an acrylic or a clear block technique. Absolutely. You know, when I started panicking, I was like, okay, those who love me, they're going to forgive me, right? They're going to forgive me. I'm going to take the Stampin' Spritzer that just has water in it. The first ink color was Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point. And so you do want to have some paper towels to protect your surface. I'm going to take and I'm going to spritz the right way. Where's the hole? I just spritzed my technique page. I'm just going to spritz. And then I'm actually going to stamp with my block. Okay. Now I do like to do this. I'm going to get my paper. And I'm going to quickly turn it over. The key to this technique, leave it alone. Don't peek. You need to leave it for 5 minutes. Do you hear me? Do not peek. Okay? Because the water and ink needs time to absorb as much as it can. Remember, this paper has a coating on it. The watercolor paper has texture to it. We need to get all of that ink and water into the paper as best we can. So 5 minutes. And you will see the different colors and you can kind of push it around and see how it's looking and all of that. So, okay, we are done. We're going to set this aside. You could set some heavy blocks on it if you want, whatever you want to do. So this is what the card looks like when it's done, okay? You can see how parts of it is lighter, some of it's darker. I have my darker Pacific Point at the bottom. 5 minutes. And I do want to talk to you about stamping on it. You're going to wait 5 minutes before you move the block. But you're going to wait a long time to let that paper dry. You cannot stamp on moist paper, okay? You need to let it dry. I found that I can emboss on it beautifully. I can stamp with the same colors, like my darkest color, my Pacific Point, beautifully. Here's what you can't do. It looks ugly. You ready? Okay. If you try to stamp in red, because in Texas we have redfish, I was like, oh, that is hideous. Put that away. So I always like to show y'all what not to do. And then I even stamped the fish in Pacific Point, which they didn't look too bad. But here's another thing not to do. Don't put Wink of Stella on it. It's ugly. This paper is called Shimmery White Cardstock, and it's got a sheen to it. I know you can't see it on the camera, but there's a little sparkle to the paper. 5 minutes is the perfect time to go get some more whiskey for Jackie. Yes, 5 minutes. Okay. I don't know if having Jackie on is a good thing or not. She's probably a bad influence on me. Okay, our next technique. Oh, that technique is called, tonight it's called the clear block technique. Where did it go? That's clear glass. That was called clear block. Where did it go? There we go. That is the clear block technique. Barbara, I'm with you. I thought you could use Wink of Stella on anything. Okay, how about the plastic wrap watercolor technique? We've not done this one. I promise. I promise. This is a new one. All right, let me grab everything. I used In the Moment stamp set. And I'll show you my card. Okay, I've got paper towels. I have saran wrap, you know, that stuff you use in the kitchen when you're supposed to cook and stuff, which I don't like to cook. My husband does the cooking. Let me move that over. Now, underneath the saran wrap, I have a piece of cardstock. This is actually shimmery white again. So 3 of my techniques tonight require shimmery white. Are y'all thinking you're going to have to buy a pack of shimmery white to do tonight's techniques? I did not plan it that way. Yes, Mary Yates, AKA the acrylic block technique. That's what happens. People call things by different names. And shall I say I had a blonde moment? I don't know. I am placing, here, let me move this over. I am placing the saran wrap over my paper only for the sole purpose of seeing how big my cardstock layer is. Okay, that's the only reason I'm doing that, because this is my layer, and I need my coloring to be in the right space and the right amount. Again, our poor Stampin' Up markers that don't get enough love. Oh, Cynthia, you ran out of wine? Where's the kitchen, says Jan or Joy. You go in there and get wine, whiskey, or coffee. That's what the kitchen's for, Joy. Okay, so again, I picked the same colors because I love these colors together. You could choose any 3 colors. Lavina says, well, doing my sheet pan dinner is done, so gotta go. We'll watch the rest on replay. Thanks for joining us, Lavina. Great seeing you, hun. All right, so I am coloring. You see how I'm coloring the size of my cardstock on the saran wrap. Who knew? Who came up with this technique? I have no idea, but I love it. And now I'm just going to color some more, and I'm not being perfect. I'm just wanting to make sure that I am getting enough color. I'm going to come back up here some. I'm getting enough color, and then we're going to bring in some Pacific Point. So far we've used Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay, and Pacific Point. When I'm stamping, I like to choose colors from the same family. I don't know. And I'm a Bratz girl, so, you know, hence the clothes, always the bright clothes. So I always am drawn to these colors. but you pick what your favorites are. Okay. So this really, I don't know. Jackie, is this too messy for you, my friend? Okay. So we've just got a bunch of marker scribble marks on there. And then we're going to grab our spritzer again. Mallory says, I'm getting ready to place an order. We'll have to add the paper. Yeah, if you want to do these techniques tonight, you're going to have to add that paper. And don't forget that spritzer because you're going to need that too. Okay, this comes in a pack of 2. So maybe you could share with a friend. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz my markers. How fun is that? And this turns out different every time you do it. There is no way that you could ever do, I missed a spot. You could ever do it exact. This is a watercolor. Whoops. They really need to make that hole where I can see it. I'm spritzing that way in case y'all can't tell on the camera. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this on here and I'm just going to wrap my wrap around just a little bit. Who has seen this technique? This is a technique that Lynn has not seen before. Woohoo! So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to squish it up. And it's so fun because every time it's going to be different. Okay, so do y'all remember the clear block technique that we did a while ago when I told you 5 minutes, leave it alone? This is another leave it alone. You may even have to leave it alone until tomorrow because this all is going to dry. Let me open up the saran wrap just a little bit. This is all going to dry. You don't want to take off the saran wrap. I'm just kind of opening it up so it can breathe. Wait till y'all see the card. You're going to go crazy, crazy. I'm telling you. Is Jane Strain on here still? She's going to go crazy, Jane. That reminded me of you. All right. So isn't that fun? Kind of looks like stained glass or something. Okay. So this is called the plastic wrap technique. Pretty easy to remember. You're going to leave that alone until that paper is dry. Then you can remove the saran wrap. Okay. You ready to see what it looks like? So this is my card that I made. I am letting the watercolor inspire me what stamp set to use. And that's why I used In the Moment. Can you stamp and blend markers? On the saran wrap? Margaret says now she has to get the oceanfront set. So on this card, in case y'all are wondering, I cut a strip of basic white and then I fussy cut that little lady out and I actually cut her in half. I stamped because I needed to make her match. I stamped on the basic white strip and then I stamped her on a scrap and then I fussy cut her out and then I tucked her behind. So that is actually two pieces. But here's where I played with it again and it covered more of it. Now this one would inspire me to use a totally different stamp set. I'm thinking the new stamp set that's coming in the waves, that'll be available next month. So when you finish with your plastic wrap watercolor technique, look at it and go, okay, what stamp set do I want? To me, it's either beachy with these colors. It's either beachy, palm trees, something like that. Okay. All right. Okay. Y'all are saying that you have not seen this. There you go. And that's why you tune in to the techniques class every month. The new waves stamp set. There you go. Okay. Are we done? No, we're not done. Don't we have another one? Oh, yes. We have the smushing technique. That's another fun one. I do think this is our last one, though. Yep. I chose to use Paradise Palms. Wonder why. Move this down. Okay. I chose to use Paradise Palms. I'm all about the beach. You guys know that. You've seen my backdrop behind me. I'm all about the beach. So let me get my stuff. We're going to switch colors. How's that? And Whoops. Making a lot of racket. Okay. So for this technique, you need window sheets. These are acetate sheets. There are window sheets on my website. If you want to play with this technique tonight, you're like, Dadgummit, I don't have any window sheets. Am I going to have to wait till my order comes in? No. Because how many of you, let's see, do I even have a photopolymer set? How many of you, when you get your photopolymer stamp sets, there's a piece of acetate in there that your stamps, your photopolymer stamps are on, and then now you take the stamps off and you put them in the case? Samantha is asking me if the smushing technique and the kissing technique are the same. Nope, totally different. That's for another month. Okay, so you could practice. You can still do this technique tonight if you want to. Go get one of your photopolymer stamp sets, pull the stamps off, and it's the same thing, okay? I cut mine, the window sheets come 12 by 12, and I cut it 6 by 6 to have a bigger piece. But this piece is still wide enough, and your cardstock, where'd my cardstock go? We'll just grab this one. Again, this is the shimmery white cardstock. This will work on this technique, okay, for this technique. So go grab one out of your photopolymer. And this one I'm using, let's see, Marvelous Magenta. No, that's an old color. Magenta Madness. Don't laugh at me, Jackie. And again, we're just scribbling. We're just having some fun. We're just going to add some color and scribble everywhere. This is another technique for your backgrounds that once you're done, you can decide what stamp set do I want to use. Okay, I'm just coming in with some color and making sure that I have enough color everywhere. I don't know. I like coloring. What do y'all think? Okay. And where is that spritzer again? Yep, we need it again. But I also need some paper towels. Let's pick this up. You always want to remember to cover your work surface because you know we get messy. We get messy. Okay, let's move all the cardstock out of the way because when I go to spritz, I don't want anything to get overspray on it. So let's grab our spritzer. And again, where is that hole? I don't know. I think it's my lights. I can't see where the spritzer hole is. And again, I'm taking my shimmery white cardstock and I'm going to smush it down and I'm going to kind of wiggle it just a little bit just to get it. Once it starts to really get wet, it's going to curl up like it's doing. Once it starts to curl, you can pick it up and look. If you've got a big blob like that, just tap it to your paper towel. Now, I put a lot of water on this one, okay? When you add more water, it's going to be a lighter smushed effect or smacking acetate. That is another term, and you will not see me do this again in a technique class because I know now it could be called two different things. Okay, so isn't that pretty? Oh, y'all are talking about the beach, and yes, I am a beach girl. For all these tonight will be relaxing when I try them. I hope so. Michelle, I hope that y'all enjoy doing these. Now, then I'm just going to take this and I'll flip it over and we're clean. Okay. I'm so glad that you guys are loving it. Nancy has been saving those sheets. She knew that one day somebody would come up with a way to use them. All right. So we're done with that. Now let me show you my card. Notice how this one is colored different. This almost looks like the marvelous paper. The, what is it called? Y'all know what I'm talking about, the marvelous paper. If you let the ink dry on the acetate, you can turn it over and draw black lines on it like a stained window. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Nancy is asking, how do I get the PDFs? The way you get the PDFs are two ways. One, after my live or anytime during the month of February, if you place an order for $50 or more on my Stampin' Up website, link below, that is before tax and shipping, you will automatically receive these techniques delivered to your inbox that you can print off. This is my February class. I do have other classes, like I said, I started in October. If you do not wish to do that, you can head over to my blog, link below the video, www.TxStampin.com, and purchase these tutorials in 5 minutes. But don't leave me yet. I'm not done. Okay, so let's talk about the black stamping. If you just stamp, you may not get as bold of an image, okay? So when you're stamping on a watercolored looked background, you want a good crisp image like I did, okay? What do we need for that? We need our Stamparatus. Our Stamparatus will allow me, which is what I used, will allow me to stamp again and get a good black, solid palm trees, sentiments, whatever. Now, why did I pick those colors? What inspires y'all? Y'all know I'm a beach girl. I love the water. This has been in my studio. This was a picture that I took in Hawaii. Look at those colors. I saw purples. I saw pinks. I saw blues. I saw yellow. So that's why I chose the markers that I chose for this class. Where would my yellow went? Yellow, purple. So yeah, look for things that inspires you when you're trying to figure out color. Barbie says, looking forward to your next retreat. Let's see here. Let's switch the camera back. I use my Stamparatus all the time too, girlfriend. I swear, Margaret, I cannot. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I have to flip the camera again. I forgot one more thing. Lynn is asking, can you stamp and emboss it before you did the smoosh? I wouldn't recommend that. I don't know. You could try it, but I don't think you should. I think you should do the technique, let it dry completely. And this is almost dry. You could take your heat tool to it and dry it more if you wanted to, but I would not stamp first. I don't think your black stamping is going to be very solid if you did that anyway. Maybe if you embossed first, that might work. Okay. So I told y'all that I had a bonus technique for your binders because of my, well, I told y'all last Thursday night when I did the live on the textured embossed card, I was going to add the technique in a format that you could put in your binder or in your album for the technique class. So that is for this card. I'm not demonstrating it again tonight because if you missed last Thursday night, you need to go watch that video because it was a cool technique that I think I designed all by myself. I don't know. I've never seen it before, but I wanted you to have it in your technique book. So for the month of February, you are actually getting 5 new techniques. Well, one of them might be a review. Clear block, acrylic block. Anyway, but you are getting a bonus tutorial that you can print out and put in your binders. Okay. So I guess that's it for me, guys. I'm looking here. Michelle, were there any questions that I missed that I didn't answer? Yay, y'all love tonight. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you enjoyed tonight. Nancy says her daughter lives in Hawaii. She sends me so many beautiful scenery pics and sunsets. Yeah, I mean, that was stunning. I took that picture. One night we were sitting out having dinner. So, okay. When am I back next on YouTube? Monday, mystery stamping. Now, mystery stamping has changed a little bit. And for those of you who are on here that are my mystery stampers, prior to me going live, it will say mystery stamping. Once we solve the mystery, it will change thumbnails on YouTube to the actual project. Just so you know, I'm just trying to tell you guys, because I need to educate everybody every chance I get. So there's your 30-second commercial. Yay, I'm so glad you loved it. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a great evening, morning. Oh, wait, I see that. Oh, she's saying thanks for tonight. Thank you, Michelle, for helping me tonight. Do the PDFs have a link to the YouTube tutorials? Yes, ma'am. They do. They do. It's in there. So could you use watercolor paper for some of these? Absolutely, Mary. You can use watercolor paper or the shimmery white. Don't use basic white. Okay, you will not be happy. It will not turn out right. So if you're watching the replay, if you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. You can do that below the video. Ring that bell. You'll be notified every time I go live here on YouTube. There you go. Have a great one, guys. Happy stamping, y'all.